Gentlemen, let me start with something that might surprise you. The real reason you're having trouble in the bedroom might not be your age, your hormones, or even your heart. It could be the food you've got sitting right there in your kitchen. There's even one simple vegetable that, if you eat it regularly, could have you feeling like new again in as little as a week. I know that sounds hard to believe, but stick with me, because the science is pretty clear. I'm Dr. Edward Langley, and I'm a urologist and men's health specialist. I've spent over 30 years helping men just like you. I've seen so many patients over the age of 60 who thought their best days were behind them. That is, until we figured out how powerful the right foods can be in bringing back their confidence, their energy, and their manhood. Here's the thing most people don't tell you. Erectile dysfunction isn't just a normal part of getting older. It's often caused by blocked arteries, poor circulation, and hormone imbalances. And the right vegetables can actually help reverse those conditions. That's why so many men suffer in silence, not knowing the answer might already be on their dinner plate. Today, I'm going to tell you about 9 vegetables that science has shown can naturally help with erectile dysfunction. They're safe, they're affordable, and you can find them at any grocery store. More importantly, they can boost your blood flow, restore your testosterone, and give you back that energy you thought was gone for good. And here's my promise to you. If you stay with me, I'll not only tell you what these 9 vegetables are, but I'll explain exactly how they work and how you can start using them tonight. What you're about to learn could really change the way you feel as a man for the rest of your life. Now, let's start with the very first vegetable, one that some scientists have even compared to a natural version of Viagra. It works by opening up your blood vessels and boosting your circulation. I'm talking about beetroot, that powerful root that can really make a difference in a short amount of time. Beetroot, nature's Viagra, some say. When I think about all the natural treatments I've recommended to men over the years, beetroot really stands out. I remember one of my patients, a man in his late 60s, who came to my office feeling pretty hopeless. He told me he'd tried pills, supplements, even some risky stuff he found online, but nothing seemed to work the way he wanted it to. He'd really lost his confidence. When I suggested something as simple as beetroot juice, he looked at me like I was crazy. But just a week later he called me and said, "Doctor, I can't believe it, but I feel like myself again." That's how powerful beetroot can be. Here's why it works. Beetroot is full of natural nitrates, which your body turns into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is exactly what your blood vessels need to relax and open up. When that happens, blood can flow freely all through your body, including to the areas that are most important for a man's performance. In fact, this is the same process that prescription ED medications use, but beetroot does it naturally, without the risks or side effects. A lot of men say they can feel the difference in firmness and stamina in just a few days. And it's not just about erections. Better circulation from beetroot also helps your heart, lowers your blood pressure, and gives you more energy overall. That's why I tell men over 60 that drinking a small glass of beetroot juice a few times a week can be one of the easiest, yet most effective, things they can do. Now, beetroot can really get things started, but it's just the beginning. Because the next vegetable I want to talk about doesn't just boost blood flow, it actually helps rebuild your testosterone levels, giving you back that drive and vitality you thought were gone forever. Spinach, the testosterone booster. There's something almost beautiful about how a simple leafy green can help a man regain his strength. I remember one patient in particular, a retired teacher in his 70s, who told me he'd lost his drive, not just in the bedroom, but in life. He felt tired, unmotivated, and just disconnected from who he used to be. We ran some tests and found out his testosterone levels were way lower than they should be for someone his age. Instead of jumping straight to hormone replacement therapy, I suggested he start eating spinach 3 or 4 times a week. He kind of laughed at the idea, but he trusted me enough to give it a shot. A month later, he walked into my office with a spark in his eyes that I hadn't seen before. He told me, "Doctor, I feel alive again. My energy's back," and my wife noticed the difference before I even said anything. That's the hidden gift of spinach. It's packed with magnesium, which helps free up testosterone in your bloodstream. Most older men don't realize how much their bodies are craving magnesium, and spinach gives it to you in a natural, safe, and tasty way. When you have more available testosterone, you don't just see improvements in your desire and stamina. You feel younger, sharper, and more confident in every part of your life. When I tell men this, they often can't believe that something as common as spinach could have such a big effect. But nature often hides her secrets in plain sight. Sometimes, they're right there on your plate. And if spinach helps awaken your inner drive, the next vegetable I'm going to share might surprise you even more. Because it doesn't just change your body, it can even affect how other people see you and react to you. Celery, the confidence vegetable. When men come to me asking how they can feel more confident and energetic in their 60s or 70s, they usually expect me to talk about complicated treatments or expensive supplements. But one of the simplest answers is a vegetable that most people overlook: celery. I remember a gentleman in his mid-60s who told me he felt invisible, both in public and even at home. He said his energy was gone and he couldn't remember the last time he felt attractive. I suggested he start eating a few stalks of celery each day, either raw as a snack or chopped up into his meals. At first, he looked at me like I was joking, but a few weeks later, he came back with a smile on his face. He told me, "Doctor, I don't know what it is, but I feel lighter. My energy is up, and even my wife says I seem more alive." Celery works in a pretty interesting way. It has compounds called phthalides, which help relax your arteries and lower your blood pressure. When your arteries are relaxed, blood flows more freely, especially to the parts of your body that are important for intimacy. On top of that, celery has natural compounds like androstenone, which can act almost like a pheromone. Some men notice that people around them start reacting differently. They feel more confident, and that confidence gets reflected back at them. It's subtle, but it's powerful. That's why I often call celery the confidence vegetable. It doesn't just improve your circulation, it helps you feel like yourself again, bringing back that quiet strength that every man deserves. And while celery is pretty remarkable, the next vegetable goes even deeper, working almost like a natural cleanser for your arteries, sweeping away the blockages that might be holding you back. Garlic, the artery cleaner. There's something almost timeless about garlic. For centuries, cultures all over the world have used it as medicine. But what a lot of men don't realize is how powerfully it can help restore their sexual health. I once had a patient in his early 70s who was worried about his declining stamina. He told me he felt sluggish, his blood pressure was high, and his erections were weak. Instead of rushing to give him more medication, I asked him to start adding fresh garlic to his meals, just a clove or two each day. At first, he laughed and said, "Doctor, you're telling me garlic is going to fix my problem?" But a few months later, he came back, his blood pressure was down, his energy was up, and he had a little smile on his face as he admitted that his nights with his wife had changed dramatically. The science behind this is simple but powerful. Garlic contains compounds like allicin that help reduce plaque buildup in your arteries. Over time, cholesterol and fatty deposits can clog your blood vessels, making it harder for blood to get where it needs to go. Garlic acts like a natural cleaner, breaking down those blockages and improving circulation all through your body. When blood flows more freely, erections become stronger and more reliable. But garlic doesn't stop there. It also helps your heart, lowers your blood pressure, and boosts your overall energy, making it one of the most valuable foods a man can add to his diet. I often tell men that garlic is like nature's way of clearing the roadblocks inside your body. And once those roads are clear, the results kind of speak for themselves. But as impressive as garlic is, the next vegetable might surprise you even more, because it doesn't just help your circulation, it can actually spark testosterone production in ways most men have never heard about. Onions, the blood flow secret. Onions might not sound like the most romantic food, but the effect they can have on a man's health can be pretty extraordinary. I remember a man in his late 60s who told me he'd avoided onions his whole life because he didn't like the strong smell. He laughed when I suggested that onions might help him in the bedroom. Still, he agreed to give it a try, adding them to his soups and salads a few times each week. When he came back to see me 2 months later, he was almost embarrassed to admit what had happened. He said, "Doctor, I never thought something so simple could make such a difference, but my energy is stronger and I feel a change I can't deny." The truth is, onions are full of antioxidants and compounds that naturally thin your blood and improve your circulation. That means oxygen and nutrients can travel more freely through your arteries, directly helping you get stronger, longer-lasting erections. Studies have also suggested that onions might boost testosterone production, which is especially important for men over 60, since their levels tend to drop with age. Better blood flow combined with healthier hormone levels is a powerful way to bring back your vitality. What I like most about onions is how easy they are to get. They're cheap, you can find them in any grocery store, and you can add them to almost any meal. Sometimes, the simplest foods, the ones we've overlooked for years, are the very foods our bodies have been needing all along. Now, onions can help you build a stronger foundation. But the next vegetable is uniquely protective. It not only helps your sexual health, but it also protects one of the most important organs in a man's body, the prostate. something every man over 60 needs to pay close attention to. Tomatoes, the prostate protector. I'll never forget a man in his early 70s who came to see me, not because of erectile dysfunction, but because he was constantly getting up in the middle of the night. He was waking up 3, sometimes 4 times to use the bathroom. He felt exhausted, drained, and frustrated. What he didn't realize was that his prostate health was quietly messing with not only his sleep, but also his performance in the bedroom. When I asked him about his diet, I noticed he rarely ate foods with a lot of lycopene, so I encouraged him to start adding more tomatoes, fresh, cooked, even in sauces, to his meals. After a few months, he came back looking much better. He said, "Doctor, I'm sleeping through the night again, and for the first time in years, I feel like myself when I'm with my wife." Tomatoes are one of the best sources of lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that directly helps your prostate. A healthy prostate means fewer urinary problems, better bladder control, and, ultimately, better sexual performance. Men who take care of their prostates often notice an improvement in their erections, because the prostate plays a big role in both hormone balance and sexual function. Lycopene also helps your heart, which means stronger circulation to every part of your body, including where men need it most. That's why I tell older men that tomatoes are more than just a side dish. They're an investment in your long-term health and vitality. Protecting your prostate protects your manhood. But while tomatoes protect your prostate, the next vegetable works in another interesting way. It boosts circulation and helps balance your blood sugar, giving you a steady supply of energy that can really help your performance. Carrots, the circulation enhancer. There was a gentleman in his late 60s who once told me that his biggest problem wasn't just his declining performance in the bedroom. It was how his energies seemed to disappear halfway through the day. He said he would feel strong in the morning, but by the evening, when it mattered most, his body just wouldn't cooperate. I asked him about his diet, and I realized he was missing a key source of antioxidants. I encouraged him to start eating carrots regularly, not just cooked in stews, but also raw as snacks or blended into fresh juice. A few weeks later, he came back with a smile on his face. "Doctor," he said, "I didn't expect this, but I feel more steady all day, and my nights have changed too." Carrots are full of beta-carotene and antioxidants that protect your body from something called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is one of the hidden causes of erectile dysfunction because it damages the lining of your blood vessels and makes it harder for them to relax and deliver blood where it needs to go. By lowering this stress, carrots improve circulation all through your body, giving you more consistent energy and more reliable erections. Another good thing about carrots is how they help regulate your blood sugar. Spikes and crashes in blood sugar wear down the arteries and nerves that help your sexual function. By keeping those levels steady, carrots help you create a healthier foundation for performance. I often remind men that something as simple as a handful of raw carrots each day can keep their bodies younger, stronger, and more resilient. It's an easy habit that really pays off in the moments that matter most. But while carrots help your circulation and steady your energy, the next vegetable goes even further. It helps with the delicate balance of hormones, helping to reduce excess estrogen that can quietly drain a man's strength as he gets older. Broccoli, the estrogen balancer. One of the things that men often overlook as they get older isn't just a drop in testosterone, but a gradual rise in estrogen. I remember a patient in his early 70s who came to me feeling frustrated that he was gaining weight around his belly, feeling sluggish, and losing his desire for intimacy. His blood tests showed that not only had his testosterone gone down, but his estrogen levels had crept higher than normal for a man. This imbalance was stealing his vitality. Instead of rushing to hormone therapy, I asked him to add more cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli, to his meals. He started steaming it for dinner, tossing it into stir-fries, and even blending it into soups. After a few months, he came back lighter, more energetic, and with a sense of confidence he hadn't felt in years. He said, "Doctor, I feel like my body is mine again." Broccoli contains a natural compound called indole 3-carbinol, which helps your liver break down excess estrogen. By lowering those levels, it creates a healthier balance between testosterone and estrogen, allowing testosterone to do its job more effectively. The result is less belly fat, improved energy, and stronger sexual function. Besides hormones, broccoli also has powerful antioxidants that fight inflammation, help your heart, and support circulation. All of these things are essential for strong, lasting erections. I often tell men that broccoli might not look glamorous, but it's one of the most important vegetables they can put on their plate if they want to bring back their balance and vitality. Nature gave us this simple green powerhouse to fix what aging often throws off. And while broccoli helps reset your hormones, the next vegetable brings everything together. It's packed with nutrients that help your blood flow, your testosterone, your energy, and even your weight control, making it one of the most complete foods for men over 60. Kale, the nutrient powerhouse. Kale is often called a superfood, but for men over 60, it can feel like a lifeline. I once worked with a man in his late 60s who was skeptical of trendy foods. He told me he didn't believe something as simple as kale could make any difference. Still, he agreed to try, adding it to his breakfast smoothies and a couple of dinners each week. A few weeks later, he sat across from me looking surprised. "Doctor," he said, "I don't know if it's the kale, but I feel sharper. My energy is steadier, and I've noticed a big difference in my performance." Kale is powerful because it combines so many benefits in one vegetable. It has natural nitrates that improve blood flow, magnesium that helps testosterone, antioxidants that protect your circulation, and fiber that helps control your weight. Excess weight is one of the biggest enemies of male vitality, and kale helps keep it in check while fueling your body with nutrients that fight aging. I tell men that kale is more than just food. It's a daily investment in strength, vitality, and confidence. Together with the other vegetables I've talked about, it helps you create a foundation for health that can bring back the energy and erections you thought were gone forever. Remember, it's never too late to feel like yourself again.